All right, guys, it is Mark from the Midnight Sports Hour. I'm here to give you guys our week 6 predictions. I say our because Adam's here in spirit. He's not here giving his predictions in person or on video because he's out vacationing with his family, but he gave me all his predictions and his best bets, and I'll put him on the bottom right here as we go through every game. But I'm here to give you guys our predictions for every single game for week 6. I'll even put our right here on the bottom our record against the spread. Last week was crazy, so many upsets. I don't know about you guys, I'm in 2 survival leagues and a crap ton of people lost their, they lost. They're just generally out of the survivor pool. I was lucky enough to choose the Lions last week against the Bengals, so I survived. So thank God for that. So guys, let's get it going. Last week was crazy. Like I said, I'll put our record on the bottom, me and Adam's record against the spread so far this season. So let's get after it. I did a YouTube short for our Thursday night prediction. Me and Adam both like the Eagles to cover in that game. So check out the YouTube short for that one. So guys, let's begin. Let's start it for week 6. And in our first game, we're playing another game overseas across the Atlantic. Man, they keep on doing these overseas games. Are we going to have a game, a franchise, a team in London? Because I don't think any NFL player wants to do that. It's cool to go play over there, but to continuously to do this, I don't think it's worth it. But we got another game in London, or England, if you will. We have the Browns versus the Steelers, with the Steelers being favored by 5.5 points and the over/under being 38.5. Cleveland, they have Daniel Gabriel. They traded away Flacco. He didn't look too bad. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he's playing against a good Vikings defense. They still lost that game, but the Vikings needed a last-minute touchdown by Carson Wentz to win that game. So not a bad showing against the new rookie quarterback, an actual pretty good showing by him. Judkins is looking like the real deal. The guy looks like dynamite, and that's a guy who had no practice in the offseason. I think he practiced with the team in June, but he missed everything else in the offseason, getting towards the beginning of the season. But he looks like he didn't miss a beat. He's looking like amazing. He's their workhorse. I feel bad for anybody who has the Browns wide receivers because it looks like they're getting none of the ball. They're not getting the ball at all. So anybody who has Tillman, I know he's in the IR, but Jerry Jeudy, they are not getting no play. But I like what they're doing. I think what they need to do, the Browns, to be successful is pound the rock with Judkins and use 2 tight end sets. They have 2 great tight ends, and David Njoku, hope I'm always screwing that up, and the other rookie tight end. His name escapes me right now, but that is actually a good, a great game plan to go forward. Use these big guys to, go out there for passes, but then I'll use them for the run to block for Judkins. Use a lot of RPO, play action. I think that bodes well for the Browns. We don't have to talk about their defense. It is killer. Myles Garrett has 4 or 5 sacks. He's killing it. The other guy they signed in the offseason, he had 2 sacks last week. So the Browns, they can still get after the quarterback. They also made it they also believe they made a trade. No, they didn't make a trade. I'm sorry. I'm getting that mixed up with the Chargers and the Ravens. Sorry about that. But they do make a trade. They do get rid of Flacco, and wasn't a big deal. He was benched anyways. But the Browns have been solid. And like I said, I think they are surprising us all. Like I said, I took the team over 4 wins. I think they could get to 5 wins. So they're solid, and hopefully Gabriel could, keep doing what he's doing. So with that, the Steelers, they're coming off a bye week. I don't fully trust the Steelers. I just don't. They have Metcalf. Great. Nobody else has stepped up besides Metcalf. They really haven't. And the running back room, I believe, is still not good. Gainwell had a good showing last week, and he rushed over 100 yards. But from an Eagles fan, Gainwell was never that guy. He was never, I think he's a complimentary back, not the number 1 guy. And Warren, good receiving running back, but that's about it. I don't think they really have any weapons besides Metcalf. And, Rodgers gained the ball out of his hands pretty quickly. I think he gets it out the fastest here in the NFL so far. But other than that, I do not like their offense. And I think they've been skating by this since this season began. Their defense has given up points left and right. So their defense hasn't been like the defense we know. I know they did better last week, and they're getting after the quarterback like they did last week. But I don't think the defense, it looks like they took a step back. They look a tad older. Watt is still doing his thing. Maybe he needs some time to warm up, but it's the offense. It's it's Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers kind of dinking and dunking to other people, and good for him. He 7 touchdowns, I believe 2 interceptions, not too bad. But I do not like this running back room, especially against the number 1 rush defense and then the Cleveland Browns. So a little betting tidbit for you: the Browns have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 6 road games, and against teams that have a winning record, so that does not bode well. But the hell with that. I am taking the Browns plus the 5.5 points. I just can't trust this Steelers offense until I see they have more than one option than Metcalf. And like I said, the Cleveland Browns defense is great at stuffing the run, and I think they'll make the Steelers one-dimensional. I think it's going to be a tight game the whole game. It's a divisional game as well, and defense travels. So the Cleveland Browns, I think their defense is going to take a step up. These two teams know each other, and I don't like taking all these points with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So give me the Browns plus 5.5 points, and it's going to be a really good game, guys. I think Daniel Grable could get his first win outright, but for us, let's take the 5.5 points. So on our second game, a game that is probably going to be over by the first half, we have the Broncos versus the Jets, with the Broncos being favored by 6.5 points. The over-under is 43.5. Broncos, I'm sorry, but they came off a lucky win against my Philadelphia Eagles. I know what you're saying. Oh, yeah, you're being biased. The Eagles were controlled for the majority of that game, but because of stupid play calling and a crap ton of penalties in the fourth quarter, it just ruined the Eagles. The Eagles just decided to abandon the run in the second half. God knows why. They were up by 17 points, and then A.J. Brown hesitates to a ball that he was clearly going to get it for a touchdown if he kept on going. If he catches that, ball game's over. But no, so many boneheaded plays. That's a game that I like to say the other team, they shot themselves in the foot. And that's what the Eagles did. They lost that game. It was great on the Broncos. They went to the run, and it really broke the defense, the Philadelphia Eagles. But no, the Eagles had that game in the bag. They truly did. It was just stupid play calling. They should have played a little more conservative. Just dumb all around. But a good win in general. I'm not ready to crown them like dumb Colin Cowherd is. But hey, good win. They have a great defense. We all know about it. They lead the league in sacks. They have the reigning defensive player of the year. They could get after the quarterback. I think Bonito has like 5 or 7 sacks, something crazy like that. So he's doing well. So they're looking great. The offense, besides Sutton, I want to see something more. They have terrible tight ends. They're getting nothing from their tight ends. So that's something to pay attention to. Ingram's looking like a bust signing, so you're not going to get nothing from him. Franklin's looking okay. J.K. Dobbins is really one who's a big surprise here. They got to hope he stays healthy, because Harvey, I'm not really saying anything to Harvey that I like. We'll do that with what it is. But I think I think the Broncos coming in this game don't really have to worry about anything. They're playing against the lonely Jets. And what to say positive about the Jets? Their defense doesn't look like it used to be. That's one thing with the Jets you always can hang your hat on. They have a good defense, but you can't do it this team. You can't do the team at all. So I don't understand this. I don't know why. I thought the number would be definitely around 8.5 to 10.5 points. 6.5 points. As I'm recording, I got these numbers. I personally bet them on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So, shop your books for the best number. So it might be 7.5 by now. But when I wrote my information, it's 6.5. So guys, what can you say what positives can you say about the Jets? Justin Fields looks good. I think he only has 1 or 2 turnovers. Breece Hall looks good. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. So that's something. The wide receiver room is awful. It is god awful. It's just Garrett Wilson. They do have a good rookie tight end who's been stepping it up, and Tyler, I believe, Mason Tyler. He looks decent, so that's something they could probably possibly work with. But other than that, it's just Garrett Wilson out there having hope and a prayer that somebody steps up and helps them. So, I don't know. I think, and by the way, the Jets, like I said, you always could depend on their defense, but their defense has not stepped up. They only have 7 sacks. 7 sacks so far. That's barely a sack a game, and they have no turnovers. No turnovers for a team that used to, be like, the least the Jets you could count on. Their defense will always keep them in the game. Not this year. Their defense is getting lit up left and right. So guys, I think this is an easy. It might be a sucker's bet as well, but how can you take the Jets? The Denver just came off their biggest win and God knows how many years. I think they come into New York against the Jets, and they just demolished them. I can see this being a 27-14 kind of game. So give me the Denver to cover the 6.5. Now in our third game, let's talk about the overrated Chargers versus the Miami Dolphins, with the Chargers being favored by 4.5 points and the over-under being 43.5. Now, I say the Chargers are overrated because everybody and their mother who loves Harbaugh, who thinks Harbaugh is the best coach, they think he's the best thing since sliced bread. What do? They lay an egg against a Washington Commanders team that's beat up everywhere, defense and offense, and they let the Commanders beat them. I don't understand. I don't care that the running back got hurt. Everybody has injuries in the NFL right now, okay? So can we stop crowning Harbaugh, especially Colin Cowherd, who just used that as clickbait, calling him the best coach of all time because he's hoping people click on his video. So the guy's an idiot, okay? Don't listen to Colin Cowherd. But can we stop crowning him as he's one of the top 5 coaches in this league, because he's not, okay? The guy hasn't won a chip. Now let's talk about the Chargers offense. They lose their rookie running back, and it was, that's the one guy that could also help protect Herbert because their offensive line's beat up. So when the offensive line's beat up, you can rely on the running game to protect your quarterback from getting hit all the time. Well, Hampton, he is out. I think he's put on the IR. Now they have Vidal and Hankins, whatever these two guys are. Now this went from an actual decent running back room to a below average to awful running back room. So it is not looking good for Chargers. Offensive line is beat up. Their 2 best offensive line guys are all beat up, and now the running back room is beat up. They still have great weapons, so I think they're gonna have to sling it. They still have Allen, McConkey, and Quentin Johnson. So they have weapons to pass to, and that's what they're going to have to rely on. Quick releases so Herbert doesn't get sacked. What are you going to do? Their defense, they did make a trade, I believe, with the Ravens to get a guy to get after the quarterback. They need it because Mack is still out, and they're having trouble getting after the quarterback. And by the way, like I said, they looked embarrassing in that Charger and that Commanders game. Commanders are beat up, and they let them win. They let the Commanders win. Not a good look. Let's talk about the Dolphins. They're coming off an even more embarrassing loss to the Carolina Panthers. Their defense just sucks, guys. They just suck. Like, they have some names, and you look at their depth chart, but they're like, who are you afraid of on this team on their defense? Nobody really. So, there's not much to say there at all. They let Rico Dowdle, the backup running back for the Panthers, rush over 200 yards. That's like, come on, are you kidding me? 200 yards? Who's playing defense there? The water boy, the popcorn vendor guy? Who's playing defense for them? The Miami Dolphins. Just a terrible look. One thing I guess you could hang their hat on, they did lose Tyreek Hill, but Darren Waller, the tight end, looks like he's filling his shoes a bit, and he's doing pretty well for them. He's getting touchdowns left and right. So with him and Waddle and A-Chain, that is actually a good running, not a bad offense. But can you trust this Dolphins team? I can't. What are you going to get? The offense is going to look good, but can the defense hold up? I know they're playing in Miami, and Miami's when they play in Miami, they play pretty well, but I just can't get there. Their defense is, I know they've been in it as well. I'm not trying to be too negative. I know their defense, they've been in every game besides the Colts game. They've been in it like till the end, but losing the Carolinas, letting 200 rushing yards, I just can't trust this defense. This is a game that's really gonna be hard to bet on because how beat up the Chargers are and how you just can't trust that Dolphins team. So you know what? I'm gonna take a hope and a prayer here. A hope and a prayer that the Dolphins keep it close enough, and I'll take them plus the 4.5 points. But you know what? Because this Chargers team, what are you gonna do? Their Chargers team, they're just too beat up on the offensive line, and now they have almost no running back room. So I think the Chargers do enough. I think the Dolphins do enough. I still think they lose the game, but I think the Dolphins do enough to keep it close, and they cover with the points. At our next game, which I think is actually going to be a fun, entertaining, competitive game here, and the books, the Vegas is saying it might be a closer game than people think. We have the Patriots versus the Saints, with the Patriots being favored by 3.5 and the over/under being 45.5 points. Patriots are coming off a 2-game winning streak. They beat the overrated Bills. Yes, the Bills are overrated. Their defense is ass city. So they beat the Bills in a good win. We had the Patriots plus the points in that game. Diggs is coming off a back-to-back 100 yards receiving. That's good. That is great to see. Diggs looks like he's probably getting more healthy from that injury he had from last year. So that's good. That's good news because the wide receivers I was a bit shaky on. So if Diggs could take the next step up, that's a really good for Drake May and any Drake May fantasy owners there. Running back room is concerning though. They lose Gibson for the year, torn ACL. Now it's Stevenson who has a big fumble problem, and Henderson, the rookie, which is he good? Is he not good? I don't know if they're giving him a lot of play, but they need to bring in somebody as well. I mean, they need to bring in a veteran or trade for somebody because, they have a chance to win the division and chance to make the playoffs. So I think they need to bring in an actual running back to help out Drake May and the rest of those guys. I think they need to make a trade for running back and maybe even a wide receiver. They have good tight ends. We know that. But their offense looks good. Drake May is a dark horse MVP candidate if he keeps on going the way he's going. So the Patriots have everything rolling. Christian Gonzalez, it looks like he's getting healthier and healthier, so he could lock up the best wide receiver, probably Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed from the Saints. So looking great. And by the way, Drake May is completing over 70% of his passes. That is a great mark. Those are elite quarterback marks. So like I said, the Patriots looking good. Defense, they're doing. I think they're getting better every year. Every week. So keep that in mind. Their defense, you could run on them a bit, and you could pass. If you have a good offense, you could pass on them. If you don't throw Gonzalez's way, so keep an eye on that, and keep an eye on the running back room as well, because I'm not too sold on the running backs right now. Saints coming off a win against the Giants. We had the Saints in that. If you followed me, I told you guys the Saints would win that game, but we took them plus the points. Spencer Rattler, hey, the guy's looking solid. He's looking very solid. He has, I believe, 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, I believe. He's putting up good numbers, looking all right. It looks like they're taking a step back from Kamara. He's injured a little bit. He's questionable coming into this game. So they do have Miller. Miller is healthy, and they've been working him in a little bit more because Kamara looks like he's a bit slow, but maybe those injuries are catching up to him. So using Miller and Kamara, good move. Hill is also back as well. He's 35 years old though, so watch out. But Taysom Hill, the guy plays tight end, quarterback, and running back. They'll probably need him a lot. So if you want somebody who might get some goal line touches for some touchdowns, go pick up Hill because they like using him as a gadget guy, but definitely in that goal line. Good weapons, like I said, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, and Johnson at tight end. That is a not bad core. They could get after it. They could put up points, okay? So they're not the wash-up Saints like everybody thinks they are just because of their record. It's their defense that needs to be better. Their defense is not so great, the Saints' defense. Just keep an eye on that. But as I think about this, a lot of hype around the Patriots right now. I thought the number would be around 5.5. I know New Orleans is a hard place to play, but, is there too much hype going on the Saints as well? Is that what they're thinking? And that's why it's only 3.5 points? I can't get there. I'm going to take the better quarterback. I thought Spencer Rattler was a better quarterback than Jackson Dart, and that's why I took the Saints to win and cover plus the points to cover that game. And I think Drake May is the way better quarterback than Spencer Rattler, so I'm just taking a quarterback in this one. I think he does enough, and they cover this game. They could win it by 6 points, 27-21 kind of game. So give me the Patriots to cover the 3.5 points. And this game looked better on paper before the season started because the Ravens have taken a plunge like nobody's business. We have the Rams versus the Ravens, with the Rams being favored by 7.5 points and the over-under being 44.5. Rams, they're coming off a loss to the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers were beat to hell. They're injured as hell, the 49ers, and they beat the Rams. So the Rams, like I said before, when they lost to the Eagles, their secondary is not that good. Their front seven's great. They can sack the quarterback. But if you have good pass protection, you can get after their mediocre secondary and expose them. And I was right. And they lose to the 49ers. So, they need to make a move. You have all these offensive players. You have Puka Nacua, who's probably, I think he's right now the odds favorite to be the offensive player of the year. And you have Devontae Adams, who looked like he's going to have another 1,000-yard receiving year. Kyrie Williams, good, needs to watch the fumbles, but they have weapons, but their defense, if they can't sack you, well, then you could pass on them. I'm sorry, if you guys want to make it further, if you want to get to the Super Bowl, you need some secondary help. You just do. I don't care what anybody says. So, but it's a good thing they're playing the Ravens. The Ravens defense is beat to hell. I'm talking about everybody and their mother's hurt. I think they're pitting people in the fans. They're pitting people in the stands. I think they're bringing them down to play positions because they got practice squad guys. The secondary's beat up. I don't have to tell you guys. Go look at the injury report. The secondary's all beat up. They still have Patrick McQueen, so that's good. But the secondary's beat up. Their front seven is still held up with some glue and gum. So they did trade for a safety for the Chargers, and they did sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So maybe they put him right away in there and the guy they get from the Chargers so they could run that 3 safety look that they like to run on defense. But they need help. I think picking up C.J. Gardner-Johnson actually is a good thing because he was great for the Eagles, but he's a bit of a toxic person in the locker room. But if they could have him hone in, I think that's a solid pickup. And maybe this trade with the Chargers, maybe he can do good as well. But they need all the help on defense, especially in that secondary, and also I think Lamar Jackson's not playing the game. So if you don't know that, Lamar Jackson still hurts. Looks like he's not going to play this game. It's Brandon Rush, whatever. He was a good backup for Dallas, but he did not look good last week starting that game. He had 2 or 3 interceptions. So, and what's up with Derrick Henry? The guy, other than the first game of the week, he went downhill. His age catching up to him. Our team's just, loading the box on them because he does not look the same Derrick Henry. I thought he was going to come out and be over, 1,500 yards, 1,300 yards. But no, Derrick Henry does not look that good. So, guys, there's so many questions with the Ravens. They just look terrible on defense. Without Lamar Jackson, by the way, they are 4-10 without Lamar Jackson since 2019. Not a good marker. And they're also 1-5 against the spread in the last 6 games, the Baltimore Ravens. So I think the writing's on the board, guys. The Rams, their best thing about them is they could go down the field. They have great weapons, and I think they're going to light up this god-awful Ravens beat-up defense. So give me the Rams to cover the 7.5 points. And this matchup, one team, I've been calling them pretenders. I called the pretenders last year. They're pretenders this year. We have the Cardinals versus the Colts, with the Colts being favored by 7 points and the over-under being 46.5. The Cardinals are coming off an embarrassing loss to the Tennessee Titans. A Titans team that there's nothing positive to say about them. And they lose to they beat the Cardinals, the Titans. Unreal. There's nothing to really say about the Arizona Cardinals. Embarrassing. The guy drops the ball right when he's going to the touchdown. We've seen that twice now this year. Unbelievable team. This team's just undisciplined, and they can't close out games. And Gannon has no right to hit the player like that, but unreal. I just can't believe the Cardinals. I told you guys, they are pretenders. They don't trust them. Kyle Murray's a good quarterback, not a great quarterback. Marvin Harrison, decent wide receiver. I don't think he's going to be a great wide receiver. Maybe he will in 2 or 3 years, but I don't see it. Running back room is all beat up. 2 guys on the IR. I think Carter's going to be the starting running back with Knight as a backup. Who knows? They're in a 3-game losing streak. I have nothing to say about them. Their defense is ranked 22nd in yards. So, it seems like they're in a lot of games. It really does. But they have a good red zone defense, but that's about it. But the Cardinals are just a team you can't trust. And I think right now they're falling apart. You have people calling for Gannon's head. Running back room is all beat up. I think the morale is really, really low with the Cardinals right now. So just embarrassing look by the Cardinals. Now let's talk about a Colts team that is just humming right now. They blew the doors off the Raiders like nobody's business. They should have won that Rams game, but they did a bonehead move by dropping the touchdown like the guy from the Cardinals. So there's something they have in similar. But Jonathan Taylor is looking amazing. He's looking like the best running back in the league. Dark horse for the MVP, if you will. The rookie tight end Warren looking like a great draft pick. They got to thank the Chicago Bears for letting him fall to them. Dumb move by the Bears, but what else is new by that? They're just killing everywhere. Their defense is kind of mediocre. You want them to see them be better. They're like in the middle of the road of everything. So, maybe they can make a trade for that before the deadline comes up. I believe they signed a linebacker off the free agent heap, but they could do something better at that. Maybe they go sign somebody in free agent. They go trade for somebody. Their offense has been so great that through 5 games, the Colts have only 7 punts and only 3 turnovers against 17 touchdowns. So that means they are not punting the ball, they're not turning it over, and they're scoring at will. So the Colts look amazing. Guys, I think this is an easy one. I think the morale is so low with the Cardinals that I think the Colts are just going to demolish them. I think the Colts win this game easy, 30-14, something like that. God knows it's going to be a blowout. So give me the Colts to cover the 7 points. And this is one of the better matchups of the week. We have the Seahawks versus the Jaguars. Jaguars being favored at 1.5 points, and the over-under is 46.5. Seattle's coming off a nail-biter loss to the Buccaneers. Sam Darnold, they're trying to go up there and win the game. He throws an interception. The Buccaneers, they kick in, they win the game. They have to be more dedicated to the run. In that Buccaneers game, they were Walker and I believe Charbonnet only had 20 rushing attempts. They need more than that. They need more of a balanced offense. Sam Darnold is good, but he's not great. He doesn't need to be thrown 30 to 40 times. They need to rely more onto the run because they have 2 good, solid running backs in Walker and Charbonnet. So they need to do that more. They have good weapons. I like they're getting Barner, their tight end, more involved. I think we need to see a little more, but I think we need to see a second weapon arise from all of this. Now, I know they're probably going to spread the ball around. They got Jackson Smith, which is great, but I think a second weapon needs to step up. Cooper Kupp, he had his best game since like the first week of the NFL or the second week of the NFL. He just looks too inconsistent. So they need something from Barner or Horton. So they need one of those guys to step up and say, I'm the second guy you could depend on. But the injuries are piling up for them. Pay attention to the injuries. The secondary is beat up with Love and Weatherspoon on the defense, and that they were hurt going into the Tampa game, and they have more hurt guys who may not play for this Jaguars team. So keep an eye on that. The Seattle is averaging 29.5 points a game, their offense. So they're just not all defense. They are pitting up points. Jaguars, let's talk about them. They come off a great win against an overrated Kansas City Chiefs team. Yes, they are overrated. The Chiefs only beat garbage teams. They're also causing turnovers left and right. They lead the league with 14 turnovers, 10 of them being interceptions. So unbelievable. They also made a trade. They got Greg Newsome from the Cleveland Browns, and I believe they traded away Campbell, their other corner. So maybe they like Newsome's play better than the guy they left. So keep an eye on that. But the one thing that comes with the Jaguars is this. Who are you scared on the Jaguars offense? Who are you scared of? I don't know who you could be possibly scared of this. Travis Etienne, is that it? Strange, their tight end, looks like he is going to be out for this game, and he led them in all receiving yards. I know their tight end, their wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr. from last year, he has been not looking so great, but maybe he takes the next step up because Strange, their leading person in receiving yards, is out. So Brian Thompson Jr. is going to have to step up, but I'm not too scared of him because it looks like he's having a sophomore slump. Okay, so who are you scared in this offense? It's just Travis Etienne, and that's about it. So with that, this game is 1.5 points. It looks like it's going to be a very close game. The Jaguars needed a pick six good play. People say, oh, Mahomes didn't see him. 99 yards, take back for a touchdown. That is kind of lucky to take it all the way for TD from that long of yards. Lawrence, he kind of fell down. We all saw the play and he got back in. He's running for a touchdown. Is that going to happen again? I don't think so. I like Seattle because their offense is putting up points, and I think if they could just get a tad more healthy on defense before this game starts, they can stop the Jaguars. And they need to keep up with the 49ers and the NFC West to make the playoffs and possibly win the division. So I like the Seahawks plus the 1.5 points, and which I think is going to be a really, really great game. And I think this game is going to be a high-scoring game, and Vegas thinks so too. We have the Dallas Cowboys, who are just lighting up. Dak Prescott, best year of his whole career. He's lighting it up. We have the Cowboys versus the Panthers. Dallas be favored by 3.5, and the over-under 50.5 points. Cowboys are coming off a blowout win against the crappy, lonely Jets. But, hey, that's what you do with crappy teams. You blow them out. Dak is slinging the ball left and right. What a good signing. What two great signings, by the way. Getting Perkins, the wide receiver from the Steelers, because since CeeDee Lamb got hurt, he is a good person to rely on. Ferguson is taking a step up. And the second best signing, which I think might be the steal of all the free agents move, is signing Javonte Williams. That guy is killing it. He has several touchdowns. That guy is running people over. What a signing. And Miles Sanders is a good complementary back when he's healthy. He was hurt last week, but he's a good complementary back. Ferguson is stepping up, like I said. He had his best game last week. And also they had Ryan. I had to write it down here. Flournoy. This guy came out of nowhere. He stepped up. He had over 100 yards receiving. Who is this guy? But Dak is just slinging the ball left and right. So good for them. I hate the Cowboys, but hey, everybody had them probably last place or second to last, but they're really stepping it up. Their defense actually sacked the QB 5 times. Finally, their defense did something. They have good corners. I don't know what's wrong with their defense. Was Michael Parsons the glue that kept this defense together? It really seems like it, but they needed more consistency from their defense so they can actually don't have to be in scoring matchups to win games. So they can have their defense play average, just average, and their offense playing dynamite the way it is, they can win a lot of games. Let's talk about the Panthers. They had a comeback win against the Dolphins. Rico Dodwell, they got their backup running back, ran over 200 yards. Who would have saw that coming? I didn't. But Chuba Hubbard, keep an eye out for him. I don't know if he's playing this game. I know he's questionable, but keep an eye on that. I don't know if he's playing or not. But if they have him, maybe Rico getting some time, him and Chuba Hubbard have a good running back duo. They outgained the Miami Dolphins, by the way, 418 yards to 248. Blowout. Bryce Young, I still don't trust him. His completion rate is only still 61%. That is not good. It's better than, Cam Ward, but I'm not sold on Bryce Young yet. He's been disappointing. He looks like just an average to a good backup quarterback. So I want to see more than him. Little betting tidbit here for you. The Panthers have won each of their last 3 games as home underdogs, and the Panthers have outscored their opponents 57-24 when playing at home, and they're playing at home. I think the best play here is the over 50.5 points. I saw it 49.5 in some places, so go shop that. But I just can't trust Bryce Young. I just can't. I know the Panthers have a little better defense than the Cowboys, but maybe the Cowboys defense sacking the quarterback 5 times last week, maybe that's a step in the right direction. But give me the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, by the way, CeeDee Lamb is questionable for this game. He is questionable. I think they probably should not play him. Let him play next week because this is not the most difficult opponent. But he is questionable for this game. So if he comes back, that's even better. But give me the better quarterback. Give me the better running back in the Dallas Cowboys. So give me the Dallas Cowboys to cover the 3.5 points against maybe a surprising Carolina Panthers team. And this next game, we have our toilet bowl game of the week. Yes, the game that these two teams who are god-awful going at it, and somebody has to win. We have the Tennessee Titans, who won their first game last week against the inconsistency of the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are being favored by 3.5, and the over-under is 40.5 points. This is the toilet bowl game of the week, guys. What can you say about these two teams? Let's make it quick. There's almost nothing positive you can say about the Tennessee Titans. They had a good win. It was a lucky win against the Arizona Cardinals. The guy drops the ball before he gets to the end zone, and Kyler Murray got hurt. But good for them for not giving up. Calvin Ridley had his best game yet. But other than that, before that game, there was nothing, absolute nothing you can say about this team. They're dead last in every offensive coordinator damn near dead last in every offensive coordinator. So there's nothing you could pull positive for this team. They only average 14.6 points a game, which is terrible. So basically they only average 2 touchdowns a game, basically. And Cam Ward has a 51% completion rate. That means when he throws a ball, I don't know if it's the wide receiver's fault or it's his fault, but when he throws a ball, it's either going to go to him or the other guy or the floor. So, it's basically a coin flip when he throws the ball. So not a good look for him right now. And also Arizona sucks. Like I told you guys, they are pretenders. And also they're the worst team, the absolute worst team in third down conversions. So that is one of the best markers I have in football, and they're dead last. Raiders, they got blown out like nobody's business. Geno Smith looks awful. He's so inconsistent, leads the league in interceptions. I don't care that he has over 1,000 yards passing and like 9 touchdowns. I don't care. It's like, guy, what are you doing? Who are you throwing the ball to? You have Jacoby Myers. You have Tucker. You have Genty. You have Brock Bowers. I know he's hurt, but Geno was looking good when he was healthy. So the guy, this might be the year where Father Time has caught up to him, and he's just not a good quarterback anymore. Raiders are putting up 16 points, 6 games a game a week. So they're barely putting up 2 points more than the Tennessee Titans. So that's not a good look. But their defense is allowing 27.8 points a game. So their defense is letting people score on them left and right, guys. So I don't know who to choose in this. I'm just going to choose the better coach and the better weapons, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders. I am not confident. This game should be a pick'em 1.5 game, to be honest with you. But if I have to choose, give me the weapons that I know they're going to be better than the Tennessee Titans weapons. And Brock Bowers is questionable in the game, so keep an eye on that. But I think the Raiders win this game by giving Genty 25 to 30 carries and then using that at the play action. So give me the Raiders to cover the 3.5 points. We have a great matchup with this one. We have 2 teams, both fighting to win their divisions. We have the surprisingly 49ers versus the scrappy Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers being favored by 2.5 and the over-under being 47.5 points. 49ers are coming after a surprising good win against the Rams. I say surprising because they were beat up. And Kyle Shanahan put a coaching workshop on McVay, and he won that game. Mac attack, baby. Mac Jones looks like Shanahan revived his career. Now, I don't know if that's because of the system he uses or he just maybe he fixed Mac Jones. But regardless, Mac Jones looks good. McCaffrey still looks great. He looks like, I don't know if he looks like McCaffrey from 2 years ago, but he looks like fully healthy, and it looks like you have to watch him wherever he goes, big guy, because he can make a play everywhere. I think Kittle is questionable in this game as well, the tight end, and Jennings, the other wide receiver, he's questionable. So pay attention to that. And Parcell, how do you say his name? The other wide receiver, he is questionable as well. So pay attention to that. They are beat up on both ends of the football, offense and defense. So just pay attention to the injury report before you bet on this game. And the question is, can Kyle Shanahan put on another coaching clinic against the Bucs? So that's the big question, because he had to outmaneuver Sean McVay. Can he do it here in Tampa Bay? The Bucs are coming off a close win against Seattle Seahawks. They got a good interception in the end there. They did fist for fist against the Seahawks. Their rookie wide receiver looks amazing. I think he may be the favorite to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He looks great. Rashard White stepped up because Bucky Irving is hurt. I don't think Bucky Irving's playing this game as well, but Rashard White stepped up. He had a great game. I don't think they need to use Otten more. Kate Otten had a good year last year. They're not using him as much. I like to see him because Godwin, he hasn't been so great since he's been off the injury list, but maybe he needs to get a little more healthier. But I think they need to bring in Otten a little bit more and use Shepard a little bit more as well. But they look good. Mayfield looks like one of the MVP candidates. The guy sacrifices his body left and right, but he looks good. Mayfield just putting his body on the line. But let's talk about their defense. Their defense is something to worry about, guys. It is something to worry about. Their defense is ranked 20th in general, and their special teams, by the way, is 31st, which is one of the worst special teams in all football. So keep an eye on that. But their secondary is god awful. God awful. I had to write down this how bad it is. Their secondary is 31st in opponent drop back success rate. That is not good. So that means you can score on them almost at will or put up a lot of yards when you're just dropping back. So pay attention to that. Their secondary is not so great. But I think that Flores is going to disrupt Mac Jones a little more in this game. I think that the Buccaneers keep it rolling, and Baker Mayfield, the better quarterback, keeps it going. He's better than Sam Darnold. I think he does enough, just like he did enough against the Seahawks game, and sacrifices himself like Superman, and the Buccaneers win and cover this game and cover the 2.5 points. I'm sorry. So give me the Buccaneers to cover the 2.5 points. Now this game, I think it may or may not surprise us. We have the Bengals versus the Packers, with the Packers being favored by 14 or 14.5, wherever you can get it, and the over-under being 44.5 points. Now the Bengals made a trade for Joe Flacco. Is that going to be a big difference? You know, Browning, the backup quarterback who they're replacing with Flacco, he was turning the ball over left and right. Well, Flacco was turning the ball over with the Browns too, okay, people? Now, he does have better weapons in Chase and Higgins, so that is great. So maybe he won't throw the ball away that much with those two good weapons, but I don't know if he's a big step up over Browning, so you know, let's pump the brakes on that. The Bengals are awful on defense, guys. There's nobody there. It's just Hendrickson. That's it. Stewart, the other guy, the rookie they drafted, I'm not seeing anything from him at all. So, you know, you could pass on this team left and right. So there's nothing positive I can say about this Bengals defense. And like I said, is Flacco going to be that? The running back room, by the way, is god-awful. It might be the worst running back room in all of football. I do not know why they don't trade. They traded for Joe Flacco. Now go get a running back. Anybody's better than Brown and Perrine, the other guy, or use Perrine, because they're not looking good whatsoever. And to help a rookie quarterback that's turning the ball over, or an aging quarterback Flacco, is that you can run the ball. Why don't they go trade for running back so you can use the play action for your big wide receivers? No, they don't go trade for running back. They're using the bum running backs they got now. Now let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. Everybody was crowning them to be the best team in the NFL in the first couple weeks in the when the season began. But I told you guys, don't buy into it. I told you to take the Browns plus the points. I told you guys take the Cowboys plus the points, because the Packers, I'm sorry, they're not that great. They're a good team, but not great. Who are you afraid of in this offense besides Josh Jacobs? Who? Their wide receiving room is beat up. I don't trust anybody on this thing. The rookie Golden, Reed, or Romeo Dobbs. Reed is hurt. No, Kraft, he's a good tight end, not great tight end. It's just Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs not having his best year so far. So guys, don't fall in love with the Packers so much. They're probably going to win this game, but it's going to be close to that they could cover this, okay? Their defense, their corners, they could be exposed, okay? They have to below average secondary. They're like the Rams. If their front seven can't get you, you can expose this secondary. They have a good safety, don't get me wrong. McKinney is a great safety. I hope I'm saying his name right, or I got it right. He's a great safety. But the corners, they're nothing to write home about, okay? So if you could pass protect against them, you can get after their below average corners. So don't fall in love with the Packers. They're coming off a bye week, so that's good. Extra preparation. They get healthy because the offensive line was beat up a little bit. So I'm just saying, don't be surprised if the Bengals cover this number, okay? So with that being said, I can't put too much in Flacco. I just can't. I think they could put up points against the Packers, but I think the Packers defense has a better chance stopping Flacco. And I know Flacco beat him with the Browns, okay? And I told you we were on the right side of that if you followed me. But their defense is god-awful. At least the Browns, they have a top 3 defense, and they could stop the run game of the Packers and make Jordan Love or the Packers offense one-dimensional. But there's nobody who could stop the run on the Bengals. There's nobody who could stop the pass on the Bengals. So I just can't get there. I think they could put up points, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals, cover this number. But I just can't trust the Bengals to do it right now. So I'm going to lean towards the Packers to cover the 14 points. And damn well, Adam, the Packer lover, his beloved fan, his beloved team, he wants him to cover the 14 points as well. In our last Sunday night game, we have a really good game here. We have the Lions versus the overrated Kansas City Chiefs, with the Chiefs surprisingly being favored by 2.5 points and the over-under being 52.5. I have no idea why. No idea why this is at this number, that the Chiefs should be favored at 2.5. The Lions are humming. They're blowing out teams left and right. Their weapons are looking great. Knuckles and Sonic are looking amazing. Laporta, Williams, St. Brown, they have weapons everywhere, and they're the underdogs going to this game. a Kansas City Chiefs team that let the Jaguars win, who've only beaten crappy teams. Now their offense is getting better, okay? They look better. Mahomes is running their leading rusher because they arguably, with the Bengals, the worst running back room in all of NFL. Sorry, they just do. Who do you Hunt? He looks slow. They all look slow. All the running backs. Travis Kelce looks slow. They have Xavier Worthy and Thorin and 2 fast wide receivers. Okay, cool. I'm not sold on Thorin yet. Worthy, he looks like, he could be the real deal, but let's pump the brakes too on him, okay? So I have no idea. Mahomes is playing, has to be a magician, has to be a wizard to keep him in games. So I have no idea whether we're 2.5. Chris Jones, I don't know. I know he's pissed off. People says he took a play off against the Jaguars, but I don't know, guys. I'm not sold on their defense as well. I have no idea why they're favored by 2.5 points. I think Mahomes is going to have to run the ball, and he's going to have to be Magic Man throwing the ball for them to even win this game. Detroit, like I said, you want to see more from their defense. They are getting after the quarterback, so that's good. But guys, I think that it's going to be a high-flying game. But if you're telling me I could get points against the Kansas City Chiefs, who've only beaten bad teams so far this season, I'll take it. Give me the Lions plus the 2.5 points against an overrated Chiefs team. And in our first Monday Night Football game, we have a doubleheader here, folks. We have the Bills versus the Falcons. The Bills being favored by 4.5 points and the over-under being 49.5. The Bills are coming off an embarrassing loss to the Patriots. I say embarrassing because they're finally getting exposed for their defense. Their defense is god-awful. Their secondary is Swiss cheese, okay? So I don't want to hear from any Bills fans. You can't get after the quarterback. You can't stop the run, and you can't defend the pass, okay? Anybody could pass on you. I don't know why. Remember, the Dolphins covered on them. The Saints covered on them. So the Bills are not covering against teams, okay? Josh Allen has to play Superman so they can win games. They have weapons galore on their team. I think they should rely more on Cook so they could keep on running the ball, keep their defense off the field, their own defense off the field, and just keep on running the ball left and right. Use Davis as well, because that has to be it, because their defense is god-awful. Unless they trade for a cornerback right now or a safety, they need to run the ball with Cook so their own defense stays off the field, okay? Atlanta Falcons, they're coming off a bye. They can't get off of the quarterback whatsoever. Penix did look good in his last game, and Drake London got involved as well, so that's good. So, but with the Atlanta Falcons, like the Bills, their defense cannot get after the quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons had that one good game. They had 5 sacks, and I told you guys, don't count on that. They're not going to do that again. And they lost that game the next game after that, and they did win the game they played before that, but 2 games ago they lost because I told you guys, do not trust that pass rush. So do not trust the pass rush. I don't think they're going to get after Josh Allen at all. Their Falcons, they need to go trade for a guy to get after the quarterback if they want to even try to stay in contention to the NFC South. So I'm reluctantly going to take the Bills to cover the 4.5 points, just because I think Allen's going to have all day back there, and he's going to throw the ball left and right, and I think Cook is going to eat this game, and he's going to go over 100 yards and use as a player prop. Josh Allen plus 2+ touchdowns, and possibly Cook to rush over 100 yards. But give me the Bills reluctantly to cover the 4.5 points. In our last Monday Night Football game, we have the Chicago Bears versus the Commanders, with the Bears being favored by 4.5 points and the over-under being 49.5. The Bears are coming off a bye. Good, they need it because they need to get their defense intact. Their offense was humming a little bit. I still don't like the running back room. I don't know why they don't go trade for somebody. They have Swift and Johnson. I don't think that's good. I think both those guys are just complimentary backs, not number 1 backs. Oduzze, to my surprising, is killing it. He's the lead wide receiver now. DJ Moore, I think they need to get him more involved, but they have the weapons there. Their tight end, he's looking like he's a bad pick so far. They need to pick Cole Kmet, have him be the number 1 tight end, have him run all the plays, and let Loveland, let him learn the system and get better, because he does not like he's a good pick. But with the Bears, it's their defense. Usually their defense is something you hang their hat on, but their secondary is beat up. They lost their best corner, possibly for the year. He is out. So you can score on this Bears defense, but it's their offense Caleb Williams has to play Superman, and he's looking good to keep them in games and to beat teams. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to have to put up a lot of points. And let's talk about the Commanders. They come off a surprising win against the Chargers, because I thought the Chargers were going to come and win that game easily. The Commanders are beat up everywhere. Scary Terry is out for this game. He might be out for a while. He was with a quad injury. Their running back, they're using their 7th round guy. I forget his name. He has a long last name, but he looked good last week. So maybe they could rely on him, because they need a good running game to use that RPO, or use Daniels in the play action, or use Daniels' legs if they do a fake run. So they need the rookie running back to produce like he did last week. Deebo Samuel looking like old Deebo Samuel. That's good. That really helps them out, because I thought without Scary Terry, their offense was going to be god awful. But Deebo is stepping up and he's looking good. And if he can stay healthy, that is a steal for them, because I thought he was going to be injured by now. But good thing he's in. And good thing he's healthy. Their defense is not good. It's not. You could score on this team left and right. They have injuries on this defense as well. A couple guys, starters, are out for the year. Like I said, they went to go sign Preston Smith, but does he do it for you? Lattimore's been picked on a little bit this year. I think maybe losing a little bit of a step, but you could pass on this team. So with that, this is a tough game. The Commanders are getting 4.5 points. They're favored by 4.5. But, I will take the Bears plus the 4.5 points any day of the week. I think they could score on this Commanders defense. I think the Commanders got lucky with a Chargers team that is overrated in my opinion. So give me the Bears plus the 4.5 points. And now it's time for our best bets. I'm going to give you guys Adam's best bets first, seeing he's not here and he's on vacation. He likes the Bears to plus the 4.5 points. He also likes the Raiders to cover the 3.5 points against the Titans. And he likes the Chargers to cover the 3.5 against the Miami Dolphins. Pretty solid picks, but I hope he loses. And my 3 best bets, I like the over 49.5 points in the Bills and Atlanta Falcons game. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think B.J. Robinson is going to have a field day on the Bills' rush defense. And I think because the Falcons can't get after the quarterback, I think Josh Allen's going to light up the Atlanta Falcons secondary. So give me the over 49.5 in the Bills and Atlanta game. And the second best bet, I like the Colts to cover the 7 points. Cardinals, the morale is low. The running back room is all beat up. Kyle Murray is questionable this game, so get it while you still can. Give me the Colts to cover the 7 or 7.5. And give me the Rams to cover the 7.5 points against the Baltimore Ravens. Look, the Ravens are beat up like nobody's business. And Lamar Jackson is probably not playing this game. I think the Rams, they know they need a bounce back game to keep up with the 49ers and the Seahawks for that division. I think they're primed to do it here. So I think they're going to light up that Ravens secondary. So give me the Rams to cover the 7.5 points. So guys, that's it. Those are our best bets and all of our predictions for week 6. Last week was insane. So many upsets. Hopefully all of our bets come in for us and come for you guys if you follow it. We love doing this. It's a small channel, so like and subscribe. It will go a long way. It helps us out. Helps us get in the algorithm, We're just 2 guys working 9 to 5s who love doing